morning, guys. It is, what is it? Thursday night for us, Friday morning for you guys. And using the laptop because, as you know, if you watch this channel, when it's late, it's a lot easier doing it on the laptop because I don't have to render. I could just straight up record it and upload it, and bam, bam, bam. There it is. As you know, here in California, huge storm. It's rainy, very windy. It's supposed to continue. Started today, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't know about Sunday. And then it's in a stop, and then another storm is coming. So it's been a very, very wet winter. And here, you guys ever get those crystal lights? Pretty good. So, yeah, ever since those last storms, when it hit real hard, haven't been able to ride my bike, and same thing again, and I just keep staring at my bike every day, waiting for spring to come, that way I can start riding again. Those of you that don't know, I've been into riding my bike, cycling, I guess. Nothing crazy. I started with the Walmart bike, and just doing 1 mile at a time, but it's a hobby I learned to love, and been riding my bike since 2014. Wow. 9 years now. And it's something I really love to do, guys. So anyways, the subject today isn't a Bible scripture. It's actually a thought. And, as I was watching some YouTube channels, just different people, Christian channels, there's Ruslan, there's Nick Jones, a few other ones. I don't even remember off the top of my head, Christian channels. And made me think of something. And I was just, and I guess this ties into a conversation I had. I can't even remember who I had this conversation with. I just know it was a couple of days ago that I was saying that this internet thing, you can't get mad about it as a way of ministry. And I'll explain what I mean, because you can't go back in time, so this is what I mean. Let me put some backdrop to it. From what I understand, when the radio first came out, the thought of a preacher going on the radio to preach was completely not looked upon in a good light, because they felt that a preacher should be in front of people, in front of the congregation, and that's it. And how can you disassociate yourself with the people and preach on the radio to people that you never will meet, you never will know? And some preachers saw an innovative way to reach people that won't step into the church. So it's almost like it was frowned upon, because a pastor should be there with this sheep, and I agree. Obviously, I pastor a church, so obviously I don't agree with that. I mean, I don't disagree, with that, of course, but what the preachers that hated the radio, hated the thought of it, there was nothing they can do to stop progress. Radio became the number one way to communicate, because everybody realized that, let's say a musician, he can go play at every bar, every club, every whatever. I'm talking about secular, and reach people 10, 20 at a time, or it can be on the radio and be heard across the nation. Well, the same thing happened when television happened. So it's like the church has been slow to accept radio, and once it's accepted radio, then all of a sudden here comes television. And God forbid you're a preacher on in front of a camera preaching to a congregation you'll never know. And people were against it. Matter of fact, a lot of denominations to this day don't believe you should have a TV in your house because they say it's wicked, which is weird because they have laptops and tablets, which could be a whole lot more wicked than a television. But nevertheless, preacher said preacher shouldn't be up there on TV because you can't know your congregation, you can't know, but you can't stop progress. And next thing you know, there was some preachers that were able to reach the world. And now you have the internet, live streaming, YouTube channels, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I don't have TikTok, but I know a lot of people do. And once again, I remember I started this channel from the first day one of House of Rest Church back in May of 2011. And back then there was no streaming, but I would have to record it with a camcorder, upload it all night long because it would take all night to upload a sermon. And that way by Monday it would be available on the channel. But I never failed to do that ever since 2011, guys. So by the time pandemic hit, 2020, I had already been live streaming. I had already had the channel going. I already had a few thousand, I think at that time, by that time, maybe 6,000, 7,000 subscribers, and again, a lot of preachers refused to be on live stream, refused to be like, well, you know what? Either they can come to church because live stream is just going to make people lazy, and you shouldn't live stream. They got to come to church. They got to be in the building. They got to be there. And hey, maybe some people are lazy and don't come to the church. But I believe that if somebody's lazy to go to church, they were going to miss church anyways. At least now, and I'm not saying everybody's lazy. Maybe some are sick. Maybe some aren't feeling well. And they would have missed the sermon. But because of live streaming, they're still able to watch it. And so this leads to what I was thinking about was, how does discipleship look? Because this is the way it's going. This is the direction it's going. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that on any given Sunday, I'll get between 75 to 90 people in person on Sunday, but 500 to 600 watch the sermon online. 6 times more people watch the sermon online than are actually in person. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out. That can argue about it like the radio, can argue about it like the television. It's technology, it's progress. It is what it is. So I can sit there and be angry because I don't have 500 people in the building, or realize that this is the way it is. And the pandemic didn't make it any easier because they realized, hey, I could just sit home and watch church service online. I heard, obviously, when the churches were shut down, a lot of them had to go online because what are you going to do? Not go online? It's the offering and the tithing that paid the building, that paid the mortgage or the rent and the electricity, the water, so if you didn't live stream your services, the church was having no funds coming in. No funds coming in means that church is going to shut down because the bank or the renter still wants their money every month. But I remember hearing a couple churches saying, as soon as the church is open, we're going to stop live streaming. But I think that was the wrong move, because what else are you going to do? You know, it is what it is. Either you're going to roll with it and accept it, or you're just going to be left behind. I mean, that's just a fact, because time is not going backwards. Time will never go back to radio. Time will never go back to television. I mean, look at television. Who watches television anymore? Everybody live streams. People watch more YouTube than they do CBS or ABC or those channels. You know? I mean, I watch my news on YouTube. I don't even watch local channels to watch the news. So, so if time isn't going to go backwards and time's going to go forward, and here's another crazy thought, is that what if the church, which I'm fine, what if it stays at where it's at? Because we can see, and maybe I'm lowballing the attendance, because we have 150 seats. So maybe we have more than 75 or 80. Maybe I'm just lowballing. But let's say we have 120 people there every Sunday, and it doesn't get any more than that. But the potential viewers is basically limitless in a sense. I mean, if I have 500 to 600 viewers now, there's nothing to stop it from becoming 1,000 viewers, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. And you can't help that, because here's the thing, right? As I always say, I don't want a mega church. I want mega Christians. I don't want to hoard people into a building just for the sake of my ego, just to say, hey, I preach to 3,000 people every Sunday. Who cares about that? I would rather not hoard people. If a flood of people started to come, seriously, I think the right thing to do is to build up leaders and send them out to the nearby cities. You know, because even now I have people that come from Merced, sometimes Turlock, sometimes Stockton, Sacramento, Davis. I have people that come from Hayward. I have people that have came from Fresno. I have people that came from Southern California to attend a service a few times. You know, so I think that if the church would ever build to 2,000-3,000 people, I'm pretty sure they'll be from surrounding cities, not just Modesto. And the right thing to do is to plant a church in those cities. That way doesn't become centralized about me or Sharon, because it should be about Jesus. But, you know, as I thought about it, I'm just like, okay, I can't stop the viewers though. See, if it's people in person, I would stop a hoarding from happening, because I would just send people out. But what happens if it becomes a virtual megachurch? What happens when, or if, you know, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever, you know? It's not too far-fetched, you know, because there's Christian channels now that, let's see. I'm going to just pick a couple random ones. Let's look at, okay, here's Nick Jones. I'm going to go to his channel. He's a good Christian channel. I'm just going to average, and he's not preaching though. He's not preaching, so maybe that's not fair, but it's a Christian channel. Oh, wow. 11 hours ago, 76,000 views. 17 hours ago, that was 11 hours ago. 17 hours ago, 57,000 views. A day ago, 16,000 views. A day ago, 44,000 views. 6 days ago, 109,000 views. So obviously, there's Christians out there that are really using YouTube. Let's go to this one. This one is what do you meme? He has 301,000 subscribers. Let's see his. 2 days ago, 64,000 views. 9 days ago, 365,000 views. Wow, 2 weeks ago, 546,000 views. Let's go to one more. Let's go to Ruslan. I'm just curious myself. Ruslan has 288,000 subscribers. Let's look at his last few views. 5 days ago, 31,000 views. 12 days ago, 35,000 views. 13 days ago, 31,000 views. 3 weeks ago, 45,000 views. 1 month ago, 132,000 views. 1 month ago, 367,000 views. So, okay. Now, none of these are sermons or Bible studies. A lot of them are kind of shock value to make you click on it. Sometimes, usually it works on me because I click on it. But obviously the potential is there. So what do you do when you have, see, like I said, let me go back to what I said. I would never want 2,000 or 3,000 people listening to me on a Sunday morning. I would raise up leaders and start other churches, or in the surrounding areas. But you can't help who comes in on YouTube. What happens if it becomes, think about it, look at the potential of that. There's some of them are 200, 300,000 views. So virtually speaking, I mean, if people are watching this Christian content, that means the possibility of these sermons being watched by 300,000 people. That's an insane amount, but that's like that's a virtual congregation of 200,000, 300,000, or even the low numbers, 1,700, 17,000, 15,000, 40,000. That is a wild thought. So my question is this, and I don't have the answer, is how do we disciple them? If this is the way that the world is going, we can't turn back time. It's never going to go back. It's only going to go forward in progression. How do we disciple? Because, like, for instance, when I see somebody at House of Rest Church Modesto and they give their life to the Lord, and I see them week after week, fellowship with them all the time, break bread with them, conversate with them, I get to see the growth in their discipleship. But how do I see the discipleship doing this? Yet technology and progression says this is what it is. So this is the cards we're dealt. So this is what we have to do, is talking to a camera and pray in the name of Jesus that discipleship is happening, that edification is happening, that people are being built up, that people are being rebuked, that people are being given life and truth and, all those good things. But unfortunately, I don't get to see it. Maybe sometimes I can hear it in a comment, which is why I really enjoy those of you that comment, because I get to see the progression of you, or even your thoughts, and it's just the way it is, man. It's just the way it is, and it's a trippy thing. It really is, and to be able to disciple somebody through a screen, talking into a camera, as we read scripture together or teachings. And, obviously this channel has not only the devotionals, we have the sermons, the worship, the Bible studies, and these devotionals. So I want to believe with all my heart that with all of those things, it is discipling people, whether or not Sharon and I get to see it. And it's just it's a strange time, never, ever, ever in history has a pastor had a chance to grow a congregation but never meet them. Ever since radio, television. So let's say the last 100 years. Think about it. Because the crucifixion was 2,000 years ago. So for 1,900 years, every pastor knew who he was discipling. But the last 100 has created a new breed of pastors that have to adapt to the times, because if you don't adapt, you get left behind. To pour into, disciple, and edify people he will never meet, or possibly never meet every one of them. That is a trippy thought. So I guess with that, I don't have a solution, but I guess I just want to say that I appreciate those that comment. I appreciate those that make their way to the church, even if you don't come every Sunday. You have no idea how many times I have somebody come and they sit there and have lunch with Sharon and I, and they're like, man, I've been watching you for the last 8 months, everything you've done, since the last 8 months. And I'm just like, wow. And they're like, man, I have grown spiritually significantly. I've had people that say, man, I've been saved for 10 years. And I've been watching you for 5 months, and I've grown in those 5 months more than I have the last 10 years. You know what that does? You know how humbling that is? And so it's nice, and I just appreciate those that are able to come through. And if you can't come through, it doesn't cost nothing to leave a comment. Just let us know you're out there. Introduce yourself or just comment or say something. We appreciate that. We really appreciate those that are able to become members of this channel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go on the channel and become a member, and it's like a monthly. What if it shows it here? Yeah, it probably doesn't show it because it's my. Oh, you know what? If I switch over to my David Rocha account and then look at the House of Rest, I bet you that way I could do it. By the way, I do have a YouTube channel called David Rocha, and that's not sermons or Bible studies. It's more personal things. There's a lot of interviews on there. Anyways, let's see. So if I go to okay. Oh yeah, there it is. Of course, it's too bright. Anyways, you can become a member of our channel, which I'll explain why. If you notice, of course, it's blurry. But anyways, on there, not this side, the other side, it says join. And it lets you become a monthly supporter of what it is that we do on this YouTube channel. And I'm surprised by so many of you that are becoming members, because it lets us know like we're doing something that is building you up, because nobody's going to support something monthly unless they're getting something from it, unless somehow it helps them. So by becoming a member, that sends a strong message that we're doing something right. So yeah, we appreciate it. And if you don't want to be a member, you still get the sermons, the Bible studies, you still get the devotionals. Just the members get a little bit of extra, videos that aren't public, just for members. but at the very least to subscribe. By subscribing to the channel, it lets you get notifications every time, a devotional comes up, or a Bible study or Sunday service. It just notifies you, and that way you won't miss it, So yeah, guys, just a thought I wanted to share with you, and just about discipleship, and what it looks like, and what it's going to continue to look like in 2023 and the years beyond. It's going to look a whole lot different than it did the last 1900 years before technology. It just looks way different. But we either or sit here and get bitter and refuse to budge, or we progress with it in order for the gospel to be fully effective in the same way. So anyways, guys, God bless you. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Sunday morning, and I'm going to try to sneak in a video or two for the members between now and Sunday. But God bless you, and see you later.